You've counted every calorie, tried every diet, spent hours in the gym, and still something's missing. You want more than just weight loss. You want your energy back. You want your confidence restored. You want a way of living that doesn't feel like punishment. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism, where we cut through the noise, ditch the fads, and give you a real plan to become the healthiest, strongest version of you. Hosted by our team of expert coaches with proven strategies, science-based tips, and real-life encouragement, not just to help you lose fat, but actually create that lifestyle that you love. You've tried everything. Now, let's try what actually works. This is your turning point. Let's go. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism. And today we are joined by two very fresh new competitors that just competed at the Tampa Pro with us. We have Anna Luperta, the banana, and the Anthony Russell. And I thought it would be, and of course, Calvin Masters. Can't forget about the coach.
What's up?
But I thought it would be a really cool topic to interview a couple of competitors who have never stepped on stage before last weekend. It was an experience that they both kind of decided to on their own. So I wanted to kind of have each of them share their story, what they learned, and just kind of a little bit about the experience that most people might not know. So,
well, first
Anna,
of all, let's see. Anthony, you did men's physique.
Yep.
And then Anna was women's physique. So with that intro, I'll let you guys take it.
Yeah. And just to keep in mind, for those of you that don't know competitions, like the Tampa Pro is a big show for the two of them.
Very scary one for the
first show. So, Anna, I'm going to have you start off with like what made you decide to compete?
So a year before, I was doing a lot of like self-growing and going out of my comfort zone and putting myself out there because I'm very like shy and I don't like people looking at me and attention or like anything. But
Seems like a
last
good
year I did a
sport.
lot of, wait, what?
It seems like a good sport to get into.
Yeah, but the year before I was putting myself out there a lot and I got more comfortable with people like acknowledging me and noticing me and stuff like that. So my friend actually suggested that I should compete because she worked with you guys and sent you photos and you guys thought competing would be a good idea as well. So after thinking about it, I thought, okay, let me really go outside my comfort zone and like step on a stage and compete. There was like no thought in it at all, actually. Didn't think about the posing or anything. I was just thinking about like the stepping on the stage part. So definitely not a lot of thought.
I think that's very common with newbies, is that they see what you look like on stage. They see how fit everybody looks, and that's what they want. They want to achieve that. So they don't put as much thought into all the other things that go around into it, like the sacrifice and the things that you have to do to get to that point. Kind of going back that bodybuilders are the leanest people in the world, and it is an extreme sport. So I think it shocks a lot of new people when they come in because they are like, wow, what did I sign up for?
Mm-hmm.
Get to that point that this is not just, we're just going to, tighten up the food a little bit, do a little bit of cardio. And it's very much a science. It's not a boot camp style weight loss thing where you're trying to do 30 pounds in a month. This has to be finessed because you have to keep the muscle. That's the main thing in bodybuilding is you lose the fat, but you have to keep the muscle. Right. And so backstory with Anna, her coaches at Project Sweat, shout out to Project Sweat in Delray. And so her coaches were clients of ours, great girls. And so they actually gave Anna a really good transformation. They did an amazing job with her. And so that's really when they said, okay, you might be ready for the next level because Anna had a good amount of muscle, that she did. And so they suggested that she came in. And so kind of how Anna had mentioned, she didn't really know what she was getting into. She was just kind of in the momentum of the moment, and rolled into it, not knowing and putting a lot of trust. And I'll say, Anna, in the beginning, when you came on with me and saw my style of coaching versus Sarah's, I know there was a lot of questions, why has he changed things so much? What's going on? What was going through your head when I was doing this? Did you think I already lost my mind? And were you already thinking, what did you sign up for or what?
Honestly, I was a little like hesitant. I didn't really trust what you were doing because I was used to the lifestyle part of it and more or less just lifestyle of building up the macros, and that's all we were focusing on was we were cutting, but then after the cut we were building up, and that's what I was used to. And you were like doing the carb cycling and changing it, and I was like, well, why are we changing it if like I'm dropping, like I don't like it was just weird to me. And I was like, I don't know if this is working. I feel like I'm still under eating. Shouldn't I be building? I definitely questioned you a lot in the beginning. Like the first like couple of months I was very like not sure. Like
Which you should, which you should.
Yeah,
And I
it's
always
good. It's
tell
good to
people
question.
it's
You
good
learned a
that you
lot,
have
though, right?
questions, because if your coach is a really good coach, he should be able to answer the questions and make you feel more comfortable. And I think there were a lot of times that you did have questions, but he was able to kind of explain to you why he was doing what he was doing.
Yeah,
yeah, every
absolutely.
time. Yeah.
My advice to newbies is when you go in, especially with a new coach, you know, that you hear a lot, trust the process, right? That's not always very reassuring in the beginning because you can't always trust the process unless you trust your coach.
Yes.
And so this is where you have to ask questions. And I agree with what Brooke says is that you want the coach to be in alignment with that, inviting questions and willing to answer them in detail, right? So you understand. And so you have to earn trust with the new client. You have to show them, you don't expect to have the trust in the beginning because you haven't laid the foundation down. They haven't seen how you work. So you build that trust and that relationship over time. So asking the questions, like you were doing, it was a great thing to do as a newbie. And I think a lot of people come in, they're afraid to do that, and they can't end up in a bad situation because they didn't ask the questions. And also, when you're looking for coaches, it's good to interview coaches.
Yes.
It's good to ask around. Now, I will say that coaches are going to tell you what you want to hear, and they're salesmen like anything else, but you have to kind of find the one that resonates with you, that's willing to work with you, that understands you and is willing to learn to understand you in the process. And would you say, Anna, in the process that you did gain trust in me
But
as
yeah,
a
for
coach?
sure. Yeah,
Better say
no,
it now before
100%.
he has your carbs in his
Yeah.
hands right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. No, for sure. Cause like any question I asked, you always explained it and like you were very patient. I mean, still now I ask like 1,000 questions. So you're always explaining everything. So, and what we've seen since I've worked for you guys for the last year, like there's no reason why I wouldn't like trust you. Like it shows my blood work and all that stuff has like night and day. So
Yeah. With Anna's blood work, she came in and had quite a few things that were off coming into it that she didn't know because, when you have blood work run through a physician, it's very minimal. It's just the basics. They're looking for disease. They're not, they're looking within clinical range. And so as a coach, a functional coach, you have to look at a bigger picture. And so you need a full panel and you look at things. So she was seeing markers on there that had never been tested. So she had no idea these things were off. And I'm talking across the board, liver enzymes, insulin, all the things, going in with this. So we had to fix all this. And we also had a time limit at the same time. So we started fixing periodically in the beginning, but during the process of the prep, we were able to clean those labs up to pristine, to a perfect set of labs. The only thing left that was still high was cortisol coming out of the prep as we tested, which is actually kind of normal in a prep to have that. But usually in a lot of cases, preps are known to downregulate hormones. So it usually starts off good, but then ends up kind of a mess. You did the opposite. You actually went from labs that were busted up to actually clean labs. So this to me was a big victory. One, because you're a new person coming in and we really want to emphasize longevity and enjoying the sport and building into it. I think a lot of people focus on we're focused on winning right away. They don't want to earn their stripes. You go in, but you grow into it. But your most important aspect is always going to be your health. And it shouldn't be compromised because you're in prep. So prep can be healthy. It is extreme. It is going to push your limits and it is going to push to the point at the end of leanness that your body doesn't want to go to. And that will happen. But it's still fixing it and making sure that you're in a healthy place. And so we achieved that with yours, so which shows that you're going to improve as time progresses through this and grow into the sport. You're going to be a force to be reckoned with
Yep,
because
for
of it.
sure. For sure. I can't
no,
wait
I'm
to see what
definitely excited. Yeah, I'm excited for the off season.
yeah. And Anthony got
Yeah.
started with us also. So
Yeah.
let's hear your story, Anthony. What made you think about jumping on stage?
Yeah, I had absolutely no idea what I was getting into. I wanted to see kind of what my body could do before I turned 30. I'm approaching that this year. I know that may not seem crazy for a lot of people, but for me, it was just to see kind of where I would get to or what I could do. I've always been in the gym, but I've never had like an actual strict plan or program. So I was always just kind of a bigger guy, just with mass, but I never had, I was never cut, never defined, and just wanted to kind of see what I could do. And so that's when I kind of just got connected with Calvin and wanted to kind of start. Really, just initially in my head was a lifestyle change, but then it kind of was automatic like, well, if I'm doing this, let me step on stage, let me see what I could do with zero intentions of doing well in it, just kind of doing it to check it off the list. That kind of is what drove me to get started. Not at all what I expected. I definitely thought, especially leading into prep, everything that I see online and other people where I hate my life, I'm not going to eat anything and I'm going to be doing an hour of cardio fasted. Like every single thing that I saw and was expecting, I didn't have with this process and still able to lose a lot of weight and get ready for the stage. That was one of the biggest things that I wasn't expecting. I'm happy about it. I still went days or, weeks or months where I was, hungry and eating less, but never to the point of like starvation, want to die. Cardio, I was shocked the whole time Calvin had me on my program. I think the max I ever did was 35 minutes of steady state cardio, 5 days a week. So that was definitely a switch for me. But then he really just focused in on areas of my life that I needed to improve on as well, like stress. Didn't know that was an actual thing when it came to the body. I live in stress my whole life. And then even like leading up to prep, the last little bit where Calvin would like get mad at me if he saw me online at night when I should be sleeping. Like it was, and all that stuff, is like I never really thought about it. I was just like, let's just get me cut up and step on stage. And then so that was a big thing. And then I got really addicted to like the posing and then seeing how it would work. And definitely now that I've done it, what I will prep is like going into the next prep. Like it's all mindset. The physical side of it, I don't mean to like sound a certain way, but it's the easier part.
Yes.
Pushing your body. Calvin did a great job of pushing mine. I think we could have gone further, like Calvin said, if I did like a later show. 100%. Still happy with what happened, but definitely now knowing going into prep and then the day of, the day before, how to do it, what to be thinking, and then getting on stage. So I'm glad we kind of did the first one. Was not expecting to be in front of like hundreds of people. So thanks, Calvin, for that.
That was
Completely
the
when I
biggest crowd I've seen since like a national show.
it's crazy. I walked in, I was like, there's no way this is happening right now. Because there's no going back at
Both
that
of
point.
you.
You step on stage and it's like,
Yeah.
okay. Luckily, Calvin
I
told me
was
from the
excited
beginning.
and nervous for you at the same time.
Yeah, me too, man. And so the whole time Calvin was like, listen, you need to focus on the judges and the first judge, judges and the first judge. So I heard the crowd. I heard Calvin's voice. I heard Book's voice. I heard my friend's voice, Anna's and everybody. But I would literally was just able to focus in on the coach. And I wasn't nervous or anything like that after the first time on stage. But definitely up here now mentally and seeing my body, like definitely areas to improve on after the pictures and videos. So Calvin and I could work through that. And then what I want to see going forward though is like more work with like the blood work, managing that, knowing, understanding my body a little bit more, and tired of being the guy that everybody says it's time to put weight back on. So Calvin, we're about to put on some mass, all right? Because everybody wants me to put weight back
Yeah.
on. So it
We're
was
going to do
good.
it right. You're going to have a
Love it.
Yeah.
different physique coming out.
I love it.
Well,
And just to give you guys an idea too, so the day of the show, when we're walking in through the venue, the line to get into the venue with all the people went to the front of the building. And then the first day when prejudging, and we went up the stairs, I'm trying to calm Anna down. And as soon as we get to the top of the stairs, they're saying, okay, physique, time to line up downstairs. She literally just walked upstairs. She did not have her shine on for her tan. She did not do her pump up. She had nothing. And the poor thing was standing there looking at me. But Calvin said that I have to do the dance and I have to take my pre-workout. I'm like, I know, honey, but like, we don't have time. And there's someone literally pulling her by the arm, dragging her downstairs. And I'm like, hey, buddy, like, it's her first show. And they're like, oh, okay, don't worry. I'll take care of her. And grabbed her. Come on. We got 3 minutes. And so
that's
the
Bill.
poor
Everybody
thing,
knows Bill. It's competed.
poor thing
but
That
he's
was
my
her
go-to
like
guy.
first experience, like jumping on stage.
Well, I was just super proud because one of the things that really stood out with you two that, I mean, first of all, your stories, both of you have something very unique that you brought to prep that I'll talk about in a minute. But I was really proud when I saw you on stage with your stage presence.
Yes.
And that's something that I think a lot of competitors don't consider when they go into it. Their first show, they're looking at their physique and just trying to remember their routine, and they get nervous, their legs are shaking. But a big part of the coaching and where you guys really stepped up was you didn't look like newbies when you were on stage. You guys got up there, it looked like you were having fun. The
Yep.
confidence was oozing coming out of you.
Yep.
And for me as a coach, when I see that, that's a huge win. That's a huge win because your stage presence is a big part. They do have markings with this, but that shows that you want to be there and that you're happy to be there and you're enjoying the process. At the end of the day, when it's all over, you want to have a good memory and you want to learn to love it and then grow into it and all that. And you guys just stepped up. And both walked away with top 5 finishes. I mean, just amazing. It was just a great day all together. And then
Yeah,
I would say,
I think
go ahead.
sorry, I talked to Anna about this today too. I have a great relationship with my dad, 100%. But when Calvin met me behind stage after it was all done and I had a medal, seeing like that, like a proud dad moment and everything, it was crazy to get from like a coach. Like we did this together. Like I did every single thing Calvin told me. I trust Jesus Christ, my parents, and Calvin. Like it was in that order. It was like Calvin, what am I doing? I'm taking this. Calvin's force feeding me Reese's cups, right before going on stage, and he's like, "You need this." I was like, "Okay, you don't got to tell me twice." So kind of just seeing it from start to finish.
What that
Yeah,
saying was.
I told Anna, I was like, the amount of steps Calvin did the day of too, because you were going upstairs, downstairs, upstairs, downstairs. I was like, because there's no form of communication, so seeing that out of him and Brooke and everybody, especially like afterwards. And it wasn't just like a bucket list thing for me now. This is more of a lifestyle. I want to continue to do it. I think it's a great being surrounded by everybody who's on the same path, but definitely just like that feeling of accomplishment. And now you want to do better than, fifth. You want to do better than fourth. You want to place. You want to do the next one. So it's a little bit addicting for anybody who wants to get into it, but it's a good addiction, I think, want this done the right way.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I agree definitely when it's done the right way and you hear people that have these horrible experiences, it's like, no, it should be like a life-changing event. Like you had such a great experience and you walked away and you like want to do it again. Because it's so much growth. It's in so many ways. It's physical, but it's also just like Anna said, it's just something having to do with the growth and personal growth and development of who you want to become. You just always want to grow and get better and improve.
Yeah.
No, seeing Calvin after walking off stage after finals, I don't think I've seen him so proud and happy. Like I was like, oh my, like I could like see it on his face, and it was like just radiating off of him. And it was like amazing to see that, because my family they don't understand the bodybuilding thing. So to have him like there and then to show how happy and proud he was, like that made it even better.
Yeah.
And even with the crazy prejudging thing, like, yeah, it was crazy, but honestly, like, I still had a blast. A little hectic, my head was spinning, but, like, Calvin, like, found me, like, right before I went on stage and, like, calmed me down, which is very helpful.
And then
'Cause that was,
Anthony gave her a Reese's cup and then all
Yeah,
life was
the
Exactly.
Reese's cup, yeah, I just even after that, like,
Yeah.
hecticness, I would still do it all over again.
That's one thing though I'll also say about not to boost Calvin up too much, but
That's okay.
he was
That's-
calm. Like he's done it all the time, I get it. But you have me who's naturally anxious, Anna who has the same thing. But during show day, other than Calvin being, late the first day, it was like, all right, we're good, set, awesome. Nope, time to do this. Like there wasn't any sense of like freaking out from Calvin. So for me going into it, I had no worries because I was like, I'm just gonna do what he says. It's good. Him and Brooke, if they tell me to do this, that gave me like peace. And so that made the day of being a rookie like easier. Now it's something like we could talk about, going towards the next one, like how we'll do it. Just a lot more clarity and peace of mind kind of. And now we know to kind of tell Calvin it's an hour earlier than what it's supposed to be. So
you guys, it's the rule. How we live.
Well,
Yeah.
and now you guys have their baseline set. So you've done the
Yeah.
first show. So you know from this point, the main goal is to keep improving as we go. And that's what makes it fun. That's where you find your wins. I'll repeat it again, is in this sport, you have to find your own victories. Never forget that. And if you do that, you'll always enjoy the sport. Never rely on the judge's call to bring happiness to you, because you don't know, you could get a different panel of judges and get a different, lineup completely, and so that's a perk. That's on the checklist of what we want to do. We want to win. We want to try to work our way to first, but that shouldn't be the dominating factor. There should be wins before you even step on that stage, so that you, no matter what happens, you already know you're there, and that's a very key thing that I think is for newbies, especially, and even some of the veterans, that they allow it to kind of get into their soul and kind of, tarnish it a little bit and have bad things to say about it. But this is a sport at the end of the day. So for me, this is my second year as a pro, and I went up there and I ended up coming in flat. My physique was looking the best. It's probably at least as good as it's looked before. So I was having a good shot, but we kind of misfired on the peak, and I came in a little bit flat. Did not deserve to be in the top 5 because I didn't show up the best that day. I'm fine with that. That's a lesson learned. So you'll always learn more from the times that you don't win than the times that you do. So there's always value in that. So you take that value and use that to improve. And this is the same thing you do in life, because life is the same way. You're not always going to win. The lesson that I took away from this is that you can give your best. You can come in at your best, and it's not always going to be enough to win the show, right? But that's okay. You have to find your victories in the way there and enjoy the process and be proud of what you achieved, and just take that data, what needs to be improved, and you take it and you go forward. And if you just bring those little improvements each show, you're going to get to the top eventually. So this was a great takeaway for me. Now I'm going to compete again at Max Fit with Anna and with Brooke, and unfortunately Anthony won't be there. We would love to have had you, but you got vacation. So yeah, so next one. And I already know that this will be the toughest show that I've ever done in my history of competing. So going into it, I'm going to try like hell to get top 5. But to be honest, I'm just proud to be on stage with these guys. I'm proud to be doing this and trying to set an example. But I do feel like, as an example to my clients, it's going to be how you handle the losses more than how you handle the victories. So it's because there's a lot to be learned from it. And so I'm going to get off my soapbox now. And I just want to say, for Anthony's prep, what was really kind of interesting too, is when looking at your original pictures and when we estimated the weight where you were going to land, Anthony has one of those physiques, and I'm sure any coaches listening to this have had this before, that you estimate, he's probably about 35 pounds. No. We went 50 plus pounds and still going. And that was a big drop. 50 pounds is a very big drop for prep.
Yes.
And I tell you what, Anthony was just on point. And thank goodness for that, because even with that we had to keep cutting. And he was so patient about it, because he was consistently dropping. And you say how we were looking, and I'm like, well, we're not there yet. And so we have to keep going. We see the abs starting to come in. We're almost there. But it just kept going and going. And I estimated, I think probably 10 pounds more than where you landed originally, maybe 15. And
You said 190 at first. I was like, all right, cool.
yeah.
And then we got to 185. Nope. And then 177 is what I was on stage with.
Yeah. So that's another thing to remember as first time competitors, is that whatever weight you think you're going to end up, it's most likely going to be 10 pounds less than that.
Or more.
So be ready mentally for that. And then also, to kind of circle back around, the thing with bodybuilding is when the leaner you get, you don't want to see 4-pound drops in a week.
Mm-mm.
So that can destroy your physique. And it's, at the end of the day, the judges don't care what your weight loss was, how much you lost per week. They want to see a nice, full, rounded physique that's lean. And that's what you have to achieve. So you have to regulate it. And this is where it can be very testing for a competitor, as you're just fired up. You're fired up and the weight's coming down. You're hitting that 1.5, 2 pounds a week, but it's still not showing. You have to stick with it. You have to keep going, because it will get there. But if you rush it and do like the boot camp style, go out and do the classes and cut the calories down and all that stuff, you are not going to have a bodybuilding physique at the end. So it can be patience. But now that we know he's been on stage, Anna's been on stage, now we have that baseline, we have the data to build on. And that's for first time competitors. As you build that data, that's why it's smart when you believe in your coach to stick with your coach, because they have that collected data to improve on, and then, so we know with Anthony where he is. And yes, if he had a couple more weeks, we could have got him even leaner and got him even a better placing. But at the end of the day, he did really well and looked really great
Really
on
well.
stage. Great
Yep.
physique, because he did it. He was patient about it. He didn't try to rush it. And I was really impressed with his physique, really impressed. And his stage presence, he was just having a blast up there. The whole
was fun.
break when you raise your arm up and you're like displaying the
Yeah.
ability. I
That
about
was
fell out of
it.
my seat when you did
Yep.
that. It's like,
But I'll
that's my
tell you,
boy.
yeah, but the two
It
of
was
them,
good.
it's
It's
Show, man.
entertaining. It's fun.
what makes
Yeah,
a
so-
great competitor is the consistency, and the two of you were so on point the entire time. So it was like the perfect storm of, you have a coach that's giving you direction, you have the client that is just following to a T. So it's very predictable. And, in Calvin's mind, he knew exactly what was happening. In your mind, you had to kind of trust that Calvin was doing it, but to kind of know, like, from both sides, and know, like, what that's like of not knowing, okay, is this really going to happen? Am I going to make it to stage? Because I know when I competed my first time, I was like, I don't know what's even going to be happening here. And it's really scary to have that much trust in someone when you are changing your body composition so much and you are getting that lean and you are, again, and knowing that things with your labs and our intention and our expertise and how Calvin does things and how he judges things. So I know that's a lot for you guys to be able to kind of keep that in mind. But the two of you, the reason you both did so well and enjoyed the process so much is because you all just killed it. You followed everything to a T. And I know it's hard because people around you don't get it. Like you both mentioned, like they're not, it's not something you can kind of explain to people unless you're in it. And both of you guys were in it. And despite all the noise, you all were able to stay laser focused. And that's really what it takes to be a true competitor and to be able to be in this sport and be able to be successful in this sport. You have to be able to block it out. But I think that was a cool thing for me also, is like backstage, hearing some of the other people that are there and the stories and the people you get to meet. It's like when you immerse yourself around people that are just really trying to do better and get better and in that same type, like it's a really cool process. So
It really
I would
is.
have to ask both of you,
Yeah.
like, what was something that you got out of prep that you weren't anticipating that you were going to like feel or experience during a prep?
I could eat the same thing every single day and absolutely enjoy it, but also how my body now reacts to when it's not clean. Even now during the reverse, I'm staying clean. I'm eating more to whatever Calvin has me doing. But yes, the post show meal was great, but now I remember I just don't like this feeling. And it's not like putting it aside for life. I guess enjoy life. Calvin and Brooke were huge advocates for that as well. But it's like I kind of understand my body better now than before, which is great. As I'm getting older, I'm understanding it, but definitely getting used to that lifestyle, eating wise, and knowing just to better analyze everything that I'm eating, but being able to enjoy it. So I wasn't expecting any of that as well. And I was expecting like to eat horrible stuff throughout the whole prep. Actually, the absolute worst experience about this prep I'll put on the podcast was the drink that Calvin made me drink the week of, the gut health drink. Oh my gosh.
There are
But
some
it
tricks
did its
to kind
job.
of spruce that up a little bit. I'll tell you
Yeah,
after.
well,
But I
we'll
had
do
to make it a little bit
next
rough for
time.
you.
Yeah. It was definitely memorable because I've never had to hold my breath while I was drinking something before, but it definitely worked. So definitely just understanding my body and what it could eat and kind of funnel through a lot better, much better.
Nice. What
You
about you,
thought-
Anna?
You thought the drink was that bad? I don't think it's that
It was
bad.
horrible.
I mean, I wouldn't drink it for fun, but I don't think it was like.
I may have been doing it wrong, but I followed the measurements, and maybe next time I'll get one with some better flavoring or liquid. But yeah, it was pungent for
Really?
sure.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I'm still drinking it now, actually. On
Yeah, no.
number
Required
2, and
taste.
I'm like, it is what it is. One thing, so the food I kind of already like was on point with from previous coaches, so that wasn't really a big eye opener. I think the one thing that I wasn't expecting is how hard it was going to be to like drop the weight. Like when I first did a weight loss thing with Project Sweat, it was easy. Like the weight was just coming off. And then also I didn't have like a goal weight. So that was easy because I was just like, I just want to look better. You know, I didn't really care about the scale or really anything specific. But with this, we were like trying to hit a certain number. And like when the scale wasn't moving like that, I was like, wow, this is like way different than what I've done before, like with dropping weight. That and like the posing, definitely didn't realize I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. Took a little bit, but after I got through it, I realized like, wow, I actually like the posing. I actually enjoy it. And it's going to be a little weird
And she
not doing
enjoyed
it every
makeup.
day. What?
And she wore makeup and enjoyed it and thought she looked beautiful.
And loved it. And actually
And got a
loved it.
compliment on her posing after too, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
One
the
thing I
posing,
definitely saw. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, I was just going to say the posing for physique for women, it's a routine. It is not just front,
Yeah,
back,
Anna killed
elbows, physique and bikini. Like Anna had a full-on choreographed episode. Like it was incredible. So to first-time competitor to jump on stage with a routine that was choreographed the way it was, like, girl, that was very impressive that you remembered everything and was able to do that just so flawlessly and just show up with so much energy and just loving
And
the
she was
process.
smiling. Yeah,
The
she had a
whole
good. That's
time.
the thing because you were first, Anna. You were the guinea pig, and so I was like, all right, let's see how she does. And she gets on stage, and she's not like freaking out. She's not nervous in her face. Like she's smiling. She's posing. She looks great. I'm like, wow, she's just absolutely killing it right now. And so that was one thing Calvin told me going on stage as well. Is like, make sure you smile. And then he told me like emphasize like the abs and everything. But they are just like you want to look like you've done it before and that you're a pro. It's smooth, it's flawless, everything. Like they're judging you, they're grading you on your performance, and not just how you look. You could be a massive guy on there and not place. It all depends on kind of how you look, how you feel, and everything. So that was a big thing for me as well. And I think the other cool thing about what I took from this was even when for me when like the weight like wasn't dropping in my mind, and somebody who doesn't do this, okay, well, let's just eat less, and then it'll go off. And then Calvin teaches me about, well, a refeed. And I'm like, well, what's a refeed? And he's like, well, you're going to eat more to lose weight. I was like, Calvin, I don't think you understand what you're doing right now. So I had to like trust him for stuff like that as well. And sure enough, it worked, at least for me. Like when I was going a week and we didn't see a drop, he threw a refeed or a double refeed in, and it's what my body needed. And then we started to see a pattern. It is a science that towards the end, it was like, okay, we need to lose a couple pounds on this date, hit your refeed. And sure enough, the next day or the following day, the drop hit. So like Calvin knew my body better than I did, where I was like, okay, he needs to do here, boom, boom, boom. So that was cool to me because I didn't think that was the thing. So you need to eat more, lose, and I know it depends, but it was really good to learn that about my body too.
Yeah. Yeah. And Anna, it's for women, it's not as easy as it is with guys.
That's what I was told numerous times. Not easy at all. But back with what Anthony said with the smiling stuff, that was one thing my posing coach and my friends were like yelling at me for, like leading up like 2 days prior, and was like, you got to smile, Anna. You look miserable. You don't think you're enjoying it. Literally, like leading up probably a day before, like they were saying that to me. And I was like, how am I going to smile on stage if I can't smile at home? And then I went on stage, did it, got off, see my friends that I was practicing with, and they're like, where was this the last 2 months? You did not look this like you had this much fun practicing at home that you did on stage. So I don't know where that came from, but
it was the
definitely
makeup. It was like
like
painted on there.
yeah. But I
Yeah,
had a
speaking of
blast.
makeup, my smile looked great because I was about 6 shades darker than what I usually am. So my teeth, without even whitening them, they stood out. So,
and
I know I
still not
wasn't even as dark
enough.
as I should have been. I know. So next time we're going much darker, Calvin.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna help you on that one. But that smile was standing out. Those teeth. Wow, those are white teeth. I don't know what you did, but you could see that all the way back in the back of the room.
Hey, I'll take it.
But yeah, I mean, both of you, and Anna, you brought up a great point, about that with the smile on stage. And this is another thing that I think a lot of newbies kind of miss because they're so concentrated on not messing up their routine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is a big part of this is showmanship. So remember, this is called a bodybuilding show. Most people know it as a bodybuilding show. Now we know it as a competition, but they see it as a show. So the morning is prejudging and then nighttime is the show. And a big part of you being on stage is showmanship, especially when you're looking at like men's physique, bikini, wellness. Women's physique is in the routine. So, but it's showing your confidence on stage. It's smile, and it's showing that you want to be there and that you put the time in. And this really resonates with the judges. That makes them happy to see that. Because I will say with NPC, the the promoters, the judges really, really do want you guys to enjoy the experience. And they really put a lot of effort into that. So when they see it's appreciated and that you're happy to be there, that makes them remember you, on top of your stage presence too. You want to be remembered. You want to be smiled at when you're seen. And the presence on the stage has a big role in that, and I think that's an area that gets skipped a lot. And you guys were just masters right out of the first show. I mean, your routine, Anna, was very brave because you did this hop jump thing. You used the whole stage. You were the only one that used the whole stage in your first show. You didn't realize that was a big thing, but I wasn't going to tell you until after.
What do you mean? I was having second thoughts like Friday night, Thursday night. I was like, Calvin, did I make a mistake using the whole stage? You sure I should just stay in one spot? And you're like, just own it. So I owned it, and like I looked down at the judges, and they actually looked like they really enjoyed my routine, and like the audience really did. I did.
That's one thing, yeah.
I'm glad I didn't like change anything, and I just owned it. Like Calvin told me Thursday night, he was like, just own it. Like you practice it, it's your routine, just do it. And I did it. I just, again, didn't I didn't want to be the outlier. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be the outlier and be moving across stage. I'm like, this is not what I wanted.
It's okay to stand out.
One thing, I don't know if it's going to be this way for all the shows, but I wasn't expecting it to be so fast and rushed because I know there's a lot of people there. So I thought there was going to be more time for the individual routine. So that's definitely something to kind of keep in mind for next time, kind of knowing the time frame of it. It wasn't that it was too far off, but definitely like backstage and then the guy kind of talking to you and calming you down right before you go on stage. It was kind of like, hey, you see how quick they got you going up to the center while the guy's still doing his routine. So I was like, okay, this is like my 60 seconds is now going to be 45 or 30. Let me make sure to hit all the points that I need to. So
it's a shout out to Rich Alvarez for that. Yeah. He's the man. He's a legend in this business. He, as far as I'm care, he is NPC. He lives and breathes it, but it's true, and you just nailed. You just kind of really. You look like veterans. But I want to talk about the dark side a little bit too now. What about that water load?
Yes, I wasn't expecting that at all. So I was drinking a gallon a day, and then kind of like a week into the prep week, it was pretty much 2 gallons, right? Which was hard as can be. And as soon as you wake up, you're drinking water. You finally finish 1 gallon, and you don't even feel that relief anymore because you're like, now I got to drink another one. And you dread it. I genuinely dreaded it. And then the day of the show afterwards, I had a headache out of this world because I was dehydrated. I didn't have anything. So literally when I was in the dinner place, I had about 5 things of water and I was just downing it.
Did the same thing. Anna's like, can I have another water? Like
I was nonstop. I was like, just keep them coming. Cause my head was just pounding, which all makes sense. And now that's something that we both know going into the next one, how to mentally prepare. So it's like, all right, you're going to get X amount of water today. Figure it out, the right way, but definitely a break from the 2 gallons a day. Cause I dreaded the worst part about this process was getting up about 3 times a night to pee. And it was just the amount. I don't think people talk about that.
Well, that's pretty normal at my age. So,
and what was funny is you asked me before of like the depletion that I saw you there at the gym and you're like, what about this depletion that I'm hearing about? Like, I'm not going to be able to like drink water. I'm like, oh, you're going to be drinking.
Yeah, I had it the opposite way. And so really to drink that's honest. Like the working outside of it's not the hard part.
Nope.
It's everything else.
Yeah.
So as long as you have that under control, then it's all mindset and then just downing that water.
Yeah. Except the tan. With the water, and I experienced the tan.
With the water on show day, it really depends on the person. That's one of the things we kind of look at. Like, why I have you guys send me the pictures periodically through the day, and I'm like, tell me how much water you've drank, how many meals you've had, and what your weight is. So what I'm looking at is where do you look the best? So do you look the best with a little bit of water, or do you look the best with a lot of water? Do you look the best with more food or less food? And so that's how I kind of estimate for how much to drink during the day. During show day. So that can actually change based on your leanness, so it may be different I don't like to pull water on show day. I don't want to go any less than, like, say, 6 ounces every couple hours, but it can get to the point where you actually don't have to pull back. You can just drink freely, especially as a natural competitor, because you need water to keep the muscles full. And I think a big mistake that a lot of the natural competitors can do is they start cutting water. I've seen them start cutting water out at Wednesday to where they're down to like a quarter of a gallon by Friday, or maybe a half, and they're just completely dehydrated. Muscles are flat. They can't get a pump, so loading the water in pushes the subcutaneous water out. And then on show day, you kind of keep it fairly dry, depending on what your best look is. So that may change, and that's something we can play with. But the one thing you want to remember, and this is for the newbies too, is to bring some electrolytes.
Yes.
Very important, either Pedialyte or Element T,
Coconut water.
Coconut water. And you want to chug that after stage. When you get out of finals and you're done, the first thing you want to do is grab 16, 24 ounces, whatever, put the electrolytes in and chug it down. And you're probably going to need a couple packets. And you want to get the electrolytes back in you, because it can mess up your dinner after too, and especially if you have a drink, which I don't really recommend after. But if you do and you're dehydrated, you are not going to feel good. Not going to feel good. So that's important to know as well. But I tell you, the water loading thing, when I went to nationals in 23, or I think it was 23, and I talked Brooke into driving to Pittsburgh for this, right, from South Florida. We're in Palm Beach, South Florida. Just, for those who don't know where that is, it's just north of Boca Raton and about an hour north of Fort Lauderdale. So I wanted a road trip. Let's go up there so we can visit some people, clients, on the way up and the way back. Something I forgot about was the water load. And I was loading at that time 3 gallons a day. And we went up with my son and his friend and Brooke, and we're all just kind of piling this car. That was one of the worst decisions I ever made. We had a great time in the road trip, especially back, but oh my gosh. And that's before I knew about pee bags. Did you know about pee bags, Anthony?
There's
Don't.
no way.
There is a thing called, well, I guess I don't know if they're actually called pee bags, but
anyway.
they're made, you can use them anywhere, but you put them in your glove compartment. That way, if you are in, say, traffic or something like that, and you got to go, you use a pee bag. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know about them
Could have
then.
used that. I definitely
Right.
could have used that.
But for traveling, flying is not fun. I can tell you that. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to drive, because I'm like, well, I don't want to fly either, because then I'm going to be going in and out of the seat, and they're going to be like, everybody put your seatbelt on. I'm like, no. Because when you're water loading, when you got to pee, it hits you on that second, and you got to go. Yeah. There's no sitting around and waiting. So that's something that should be aware of with first-time competitors, is that if your coach has you do that, some will run the water straight through because not everybody needs it. But, so it is something to be aware of as you have that the last week.
Yeah.
That's something that was surprising to me, because everyone online said, like, you're not drinking water, and like I got my water cut in half, and I was surprised we actually went up in water to like 1.5 gallons, and I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting at all. But and then definitely
Absolutely.
after, I was like chugging the water like Anthony was saying. I was like, I need another glass, and everyone's like, there's other water, and I was like, just someone bring me another glass of water, because I'm gonna drink all of it, because I was like so thirsty, and I had like a bad headache after prejudging too. And Calvin's like, you need electrolytes. Coconut water, though, definitely need a different solution, because I'm not a fan of the coconut water. Anthony, I'll trade you. You can have the coconut water, I'll do the gut drink, and we'll be good.
I'll trade you anytime for that. I'm from the islands. I could drink coconut water all day long.
Yeah.
No, coconut water was no for me. It was not good at all.
All right. And the most important question that I'm sure everybody wants to know is that after your show, what was your meal of choice?
Well, I was, I wouldn't count this as a meal, but they had like gourmet. I will say gourmet. It was really nicely done, like pizza and cookies, like there. So they're smart. They were like, right? That didn't count. We went out for tacos that night, and I definitely, my stomach was bigger than my eyes, or vice versa. Like my eyes were bigger than my stomach. I ordered way too much food because I ate the first couple, and I was so dumb too. I had something greasy, something with cheese, everything that kind of, my body's like, no, but my mind was like, yes.
I think this is a good idea.
It was not, but at the time it was great, definitely worth it. But yes, it's great for that night, but I was looking forward to my cream rice and chicken the next day. I mean, I hate to say it, but like I told Anna today, I was like, I look forward to going to bed now in my reverse, waking up to have my cream rice and protein breakfast. Like, I'm used to it now, and my taste buds are like, yeah, you want this. Like it makes everything happy up here. So it definitely changes.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did you get the food, baby? Did you have the nice swollen stomach after that, after those
Then
tacos?
the next day, all day, it was taking forever to digest, but after a couple of days, it felt better for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that can rock a person's world pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Pizza will beat you up. I know that from past experience. Tacos are so borderline, because of the sodium and the fats and everything,
Oh,
and
it's crazy.
and you just want to just keep on eating them.
Even now, I'm in this reverse. And the other night, my aunt came from home and she brought cake, and I'm like, I don't know if I could have. And then I'm like, oh wait a minute, I'm not competing right now. But in my mind, I'm like,
Still in
I just don't want to do it. Not to kill yourself, like enjoy life, live life, especially if you're not going to do it. But I was like, I'm good with just this one slice. I'm happy. My body's able to tell me, I'm good. So that's a good change.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice. What about Anna? I know what you had, but
Well,
What were you
honestly,
craving?
though, like you guys kept asking, like, "What do you want to eat? What do you want to eat?" There was really nothing like I wanted. Like I know people like get off stage and like, "Oh, I want this, I want that." I mean, besides my chocolate chip cookies, Calvin, I still want
Yeah,
chocolate chip
yeah.
cookies. But besides the cookie,
You and me both.
there was really no like food I really wanted. But I winded up getting chicken tenders with like on
That's
top of
always
French
good.
fries with a bunch of cheese. I felt that I think till Monday. I was feeling like crap. Probably
French
Sunday.
fries were good though. French
Oh,
fries
they
were
were
good.
good. It
Yeah.
was good. I just
And
felt
that
like
was
crap.
one thing that threw me off on the day of or the night before is Calvin's like, oh yeah, make sure you have a burger and fries tonight. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Because I know we tried this earlier on in the prep. We did it better though, so it was the cheese, Calvin, because the cheese didn't relate with me. So the next time I had a burger and fries, and that's what kind of helped me the next day look fuller. And then the day of, after our comparisons, I have another one. So I had another burger with fries and still looking good and everything. So definitely a way to manipulate the body, leading into a show or even show day, what's needed. So that was not expected. And now kind of just knowing going forward what my body reacts well to and what it doesn't.
Yeah, it can be a great tool to fill somebody in, but definitely something to be
Try it.
tested before peak week. We did try it, but I knew the dairy and the cheese was going to be an issue because you weren't really doing dairy so much with night after. So then, but now, and the other thing too is when we did the burger after the prejudging, that's a time like when you're not going to win, to get first place, is your first show, you did get, first call out. But at the same time, that's an opportunity for a coach and a client to experiment a little bit and see so if there's a big lineup, if a lot of the guys in your category are just bringing mass, then let's see if we can manipulate a little bit and do it. Now's our chance to do it. If you were fighting for first and you were right there's no reason to change anything. You play it safe, keep things status quo. But if you think it's going to be fourth, fifth place, this is your chance to kind of see if you can get that little bit more volume out. And when you come back, see how you measure up. So you have that data going into the next show. So that's a good opportunity to do that and see. And it's either going to work or it's not, but your placing is going to pretty much be the same because they basically do that during prejudging. So, but again, not something I would recommend if we're fighting for first place, so that's, unless we know that's something that would work in that situation. So, but you were a trooper about it, and you did it. I know it was hard getting a burger and fries, and I felt really bad for you,
Hey, but it was good.
It
Worth
was
it.
going to
awesome.
send you a sympathy card.
No, the weird thing wasn't the burger and fries, Anthony. It was the candy, the chips, and the Rice Krispie treat we were eating right before finals. That was the weird thing, not the
Yeah.
burger and fries. It was all the other stuff. I was like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Candy
And
stuff.
everything had a purpose. Everything had a
Yeah,
reason,
yeah.
right? So the chips are giving in that sodium. Some of those quick sugars are, again, going to help fill out your muscles. So everything that Calvin did, it wasn't just like, hey, have this, and it was random. Everything was calculated. So, my last part, because I know we're kind of coming up on time, but I wanted for each of you, if you were talking to someone who is thinking about doing a competition, what would be something that you would want to tell them that you would have wanted someone to tell you before getting started?
That's a good question. Yeah.
Besides the posing,
Yeah, good.
besides the posing, because obviously I just didn't really put much thought into that part. I would say the exhaustion, the energy, and still having to go to the gym and do the posing and work and live my regular life. it definitely takes a toll being tired. Like, and you just have to push through. Definitely did not expect that. Like, I know prep was hard, but I didn't expect like that kind of exhaustion to like actually like feel like I was forcing myself to like do like simplest things like clean my house or cook dinner. Definitely the exhaustion.
That practicing does, and you should give your coach a shout out, your posing coach, Renee.
Oh yeah, Renee did a great job with the posing. Especially
Yeah.
the routine at the end. She like did a wonder. I could never choreograph anything because I don't do dance, so she did a great
I
job.
have to
with
give her
the-
information in the
It'll be in the show
bio,
notes
so,
for sure.
yeah, she
But
did a
Anna,
great
was
job.
your exhaustion, was it worth it? Jumping off stage?
But yeah, I would do it all over again. I'm doing it
Yeah.
again this Saturday.
True.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I wish I
yeah, no,
was.
I would.
And I wish you were there with this, Anthony. but
Anybody
that's great.
listening, like everybody listening and read or whatever, it's like I want to be there. Not like, oh, I'm finally done. I'll do another one in 6 months. Like, I'm ready to come back from my trip and dial it in because it creates structure, obedience and everything and discipline. And that I wish I was there.
Yeah.
We were there too.
That says a lot about Anthony too, with the mindset, that goes a really long way. Anthony had a great mindset through the whole thing, very optimistic, didn't complain, and just did the things, and trusted the process. And that is such a huge component to getting to the end, is just trying to keep your spirits up and just looking at it optimistically. You always want to remember that you're doing this because you want to do this, and you're able to do this. And that's a blessing, to be able to be in a position to be able to do that. Because most people are not most people, but there's people out there that are not eating because they can't afford it. We're eating not eating by choice. We have that food in the house and we're doing it, but that's the sport of it. Is it hard? Yeah. But if it wasn't hard, what would you take away from it? Would it be worth it? So the challenge in yourself is always going to make you a better person, always going to make you a better person. So the more you can do that, the more you grow and you learn about yourself, and having the attitude to go with it. That for some people is an acquired thing, like Anna acquired that halfway through the prep, where she was in the beginning with the questions and where she ended up, two different people,
For sure.
But she molded into it and molded into a competitor. And that was one of the parts that I was most proud about, is that transition. I saw butterflies come out of two of them, because of where they started, where they went to. So it was a great thing. And so,
Especially
think
the
to answer-
mindset. I
yeah.
definitely grew a lot mindset wise, like way more than I thought I would.
I didn't know Anna to begin with either, but seeing her confidence change is crazy. Even now, like seeing her in the gym, so definitely a different character. And to answer Brooke's question, try your best to have a support system around you who understand. So my family, kind of like Anna, I have a great family. They love me to death. My mom helped me cook. It was great. They don't understand it, the lifestyle. Why are you doing this? You look great. What do you mean? I mean, my mom wanted to kill Calvin a couple of times for sure. I told him that because I kept on saying, yeah, I need to lose about 5 more, 10 more. And she was getting upset. It's like, there's no way, but they don't understand it. And that's fine. That's not their cup of tea. But the amount of support that I would get from people who either like in the gym or who have done it or who understand it is amazing. I mean, the amount of people that you connect with, your new people, especially ones who have done shows before, and they're able to kind of walk through everything with you or who want to do it. But having a support system that hits you up daily or just know they're there for you. Like I know Anna had the 2 girls who came with us as well, and everybody, just to be able to have that in your back pocket, what a game changer. I mean, I was shown love by so many people. It's definitely made it worth it. I mean, what an experience. I'll never forget it.
yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah,
great
you
advice.
definitely need the support. I couldn't do it without like my 2 best friends. Like without them, I would have like been pulling out probably like 2 months in. But
Yeah. Sydney and Jesse were saving grace, and they drove up all that way to come to your show.
yeah, well,
which is
even
Yeah.
like
really awesome.
Friday, I was waiting for them to come, waiting. I went down to my car and I didn't know when they were gonna get there because Sydney said one time, but she meant a different time. And at the elevator doors open and they were standing there, I almost started crying. I was so happy. I didn't realize I knew like how much I was relying on them through it, but I didn't realize like I was relying on them that much that like I was like itching for them to be there with me in Tampa. So when they got there, I was like, oh, thank God, my people, my brain is here, because my brain's not working, their brains are. Like, I was like, thank God you guys are here. Like,
that makes a huge difference on show day to have your
yeah.
people there, the ones that supported you. And I think, you know, at least for me, I remember like when the times that I was nervous or whatever, it was always when I stepped on stage and I would hear a familiar voice yell my name out.
It was
Yeah.
That's
mine.
the moment I would click.
It was
When I
me.
was in my zone, it was every single time, you know? And so I always tell people when they come to support somebody and like yell their name, let them hear
Yeah,
their voice.
it helps.
It
Mhm.
really, really helps. And it's
One last funny thing to say, but the day when I finally got to the hotel to go downstairs to start the whole process, I was talking to a guy and didn't know who he was. He had on the stuff that he was obviously working for the event. I was asking him, you know, hey, yeah, have you done this before? And he laughed. He looked at me and chuckled. He said, yeah, since like 1985 or whatever he said. And I was like, nice to meet you. We had a good real rapport. Long story short, it ended up being the Rick Alvarez guy. I had no idea who he was. And so I'm talking to this guy who's well known in the industry. And then it was the funniest thing ever when I stepped on stage for my solo routine. He's there in his nice suit and he
Yeah.
looks at me and smiles and he's giving me a word of comfort. I'm like, dude, I didn't know who you are. You're an important guy. I treated you like we just had a friendly conversation. Now here you are as like one of the main guys. I was like, what a storybook ending to this first show. Like for him to walk me out. So I thought that was pretty funny.
yeah, it's true. Rich is that familiar voice, that voice that calms you in every show. You know, he's that man that does it. So if you don't have people there, y'all need to go find Rich.
Yeah, find him.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience. I think it's really going to help people that are listening. And if you all don't mind sharing a review, and if you have any other things you'd like to hear from us on future episodes, drop it in the comments, and we will have
And we'll put
Anna
their
and
Instagram.
Anthony's and their Instagram in the show notes, as well as all of the people that we mentioned during this episode. All right, guys. Until
I
next time.
definitely follow them. They're gonna have a great
I'll
time.
see you when I come back, Calvin. We're starting fresh.
Yes, sir. Let's do
Yes,
it.
sir.
Be easy on the banging bread.
I know, I'll try.
Thanks for tuning in to Master Your Metabolism. If you found value in today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd hit subscribe and share this episode with someone who could use a little guidance in their health journey. Ready to take the next step? Head over to www.mastersfitnesscoaching.com and you can book a free call right from the site so we can chat about your goals and how we can help support you. Don't forget to join our Facebook group where we're sharing coaching tips, support, and tricks to help keep you on track and continue making progress. You don't have to do this alone. We're here to walk with you every step of the way. Until next time, stay consistent, stay kind to yourself, and keep mastering your metabolism. Let's do this together.